Life. Explorer. Presence. How coronavirus COVID-19 was released to destroy the world. Facts and proofs you must see. Are you one of those who believe that the coronavirus will spread all over the world and wipe off the entire human being from the surface of the earth and the world will just come to an end? Or do you feel like COVID-19 is the worst disease outbreak the world has ever experienced? Well, the good news is, this video is not here to tell you that the world is coming to an end with coronavirus COVID-19, but rather to prove to you that COVID-19 is too small to put an end to this world. If the world was to end by a pandemic, it would have been one of the following 10 deadly pandemics which has killed more than 150 millions of people all over the world altogether. 1. The Black Death. 75 million death. The Black Death, also known as the pestilence, the Great Bubonic Plague, was the most devastating pandemic ever recorded in human history. This deadly disease, which originated from Central Asia, where it traveled along the Silk Road, reaching Crimea by 1343, where it was carried by fleas living on the black rats that traveled on Genoese merchant ships, spreading throughout the Mediterranean basin and reaching the rest of Europe via the Italian peninsula, and to the rest of the world, resulted in deaths of up to 100 million people globally, peaking in Europe from 1347 to 1351. 2. The Antonine Plague. 5 million death. The Antonine Plague of 165 to 180 AD, also known as the Plague of Galen, killed more than 5 million people. This ancient pandemic was brought to the Roman Empire by troops returning from campaigns in the Near East. Scholars have suspected it to have been either smallpox or measles, but the true cause remains undetermined. The epidemic claimed the life of then Roman Emperor Lucius Verus, who died in 169 CE. The total deaths was estimated at 5 million, and the disease killed as much as 1/3 of the population in some areas, devastated the Roman army, swept over Asia, Egypt, Greece, and Italy. 3. The Spanish flu. 50 million death. The flu pandemic, also known as the Spanish flu, occurred between 1918 to 1920, when the world's population was around 1.5 billion people. And amazingly, over 500 million people got infected by this disease, and that was 1/3 of the world's population at the time. The death toll record was between 40 to 50 million deaths, making it worse than First World War itself. 4. The Plague of Justinian. 25 million death. The Plague of Justinian, which occurred between 541 and 542 AD with recurrence 750 AD, had single-handedly killed more than 25 million people. It was a pandemic that afflicted the Byzantine, Eastern Roman Empire, and especially its capital, Constantinople, as well as the Sasanian Empire and port cities around the entire Mediterranean Sea, as merchant ships harbored rats that carried fleas infected with disease. Some historians believe the Plague of Justinian was one of the deadliest pandemics in history, resulting in the deaths of an estimated 25 to 30 million people during 2 centuries of recurrence, a death toll equivalent to as much as half of Europe's population at the time of the first outbreak. 5. The Third Plague. 15 million death. The Third Plague pandemic was a major bubonic plague pandemic that began in Yunnan, China, in 1855 during the 5th year of the Shanfeng Emperor of the Qing dynasty. This episode of bubonic plague spread to all inhabited continents and ultimately led to more than 15 million deaths. According to the World Health Organization, the pandemic was considered active until 1960, when worldwide casualties dropped to 200 per year. 6. HIV/AIDS. 36 million death. HIV/AIDS. You didn't expect this one, did you? Perhaps you forgot about it, but the disease still rears its ugly head across the world. The peak record deaths was between 2005 to 2012, and it has been recorded that more than 36 million people have died as a result of HIV/AIDS infection since its first outbreak. It is hard to determine when and where exactly HIV originated, but it is widely believed that it originated in the Democratic Republic of Congo around 1920, when the disease was spread from chimpanzees to humans. 7. Coquelicli epidemic. 2.5 million death. The Coquelicli epidemic of 1576 occurred in New Spain, the present-day Mexico, in the 16th century. Coquelicli is attributed to one or more illnesses collectively called coquelicli, a mysterious illness characterized by high fevers and bleeding which ravaged the Mexican highlands in epidemic proportions. This disease alone claimed more than 2.5 million lives. 8. Typhus fever. 6.5 million death. Typhus fever in World War I, 1945. Typhus fever, which occurred in 1945, was a disease widely spread by lice. In the war conditions, there was poor sanitation that led to a greater density of lice, which meant that the transmission of typhus was more prevalent during World War I. Typhus was recorded to have caused more than 6.5 million deaths worldwide. 9. Asian flu pandemic, 2.5 million deaths. The Asian flu pandemic was an outbreak of avian influenza that originated in China and spread worldwide in 1957. The estimated worldwide death toll was around 2.5 million. 10. Cholera pandemic, 2 million deaths. The third cholera pandemic, 1846 to 1860, was the third major outbreak of cholera originating from India in the 19th century that reached far beyond its borders in 1853 to 1854. This pandemic was considered to have the highest fatalities of the 19th century epidemics, with its recorded death toll of over 2 million people. With all these historical facts, I believe you can see that coronavirus would probably be among the least of all pandemics the world will ever record, and certainly will not be among the top 20, as the current total death from coronavirus is 103,506 as at 11th April 2020. So I hope that sounds like a good news to you, because the world is not ending with coronavirus. We shall live on. And together we can combat, defeat and chase COVID-19 out of our world. In short, to stay safe by maintaining proper hygiene and practicing social distancing. Remember, coronavirus COVID-19 spreads by having contact with an infected person who could release the virus into the air and you breathe it in, or when you have contact with infected surfaces and use the hand to touch either your eyes, nose or mouth. So always make sure you wash your hands frequently with soap and running water. Or use hand sanitizers always. With these, coronavirus COVID-19 will soon become a thing of the past in this world. If this video has benefited you in one way or the other, please click the subscribe button to make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you can be notified anytime we release an educative and entertaining video just like this. Oh, please don't also forget to like and share this video with your friends. If there is anything you don't like about this video, or if you have a contrary knowledge or opinion to any of the facts stated, please comment below this video about it now, and we will make corrections to it in our subsequent videos. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay blessed till we see in our next video.